our base case is 650,000, but that base case was set before the SEC approved the Bitcoin ETFs. And so we are more convinced now that our bull case of 1.5 million by 2030 is the more likely.
Our base case is $650,000, but we said that before the CC accepted the Bitcoin ETFs. Our guess that 1.5 million people will live in the world by 2030 is now more likely to come true. Thanks for coming back to the show. Cathie Wood said that Bitcoin would be worth $1.5 million by 2030. Tell us what you think in the area below. Do you agree with Cathie? Are you sure that Bitcoin will reach $1.5 million by 2030? But Cathie will talk about Bitcoin and how it can't be stopped in today's clip. She talks about some interesting things about crypto law and some other big subject. Do yourself a favor and read this all the way through. Make sure to like this movie and follow it. People who are new to the channel and this movie are more likely to watch it and join the Bitcoin and crypto trend. Check this one out. Tell us what you think in the area below. Let's play the video. AI and blockchain technology were the two things we grouped together when we started ARC in 2014, 14 years ago. We grouped them together as next-gen internet because they were both about AI. AI has been around since the 1950s, but ImagineIt and deep learning made the really big, really interesting breakthrough in 2012. So we asked ourselves, is this important? Is this going to move AI forward enough for us to make smart investments? I'd say that in the first 2 years, we split the next stage of the internet into two parts: artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. In the end, they were 2 of 5 platforms for creativity. Ion storage, robots, and multi-omic sequencing are the other 3. These are the 5 main sides that are changing right now. There is a telephone, power, and an internal combustion engine. About 100 years ago, those were different systems that were changing at the same time. We now have 5 taking shape. Again, this has never happened before and is really cool. So Bitcoin was our first purchase back in 2011. We had to get permission from the New York Stock Exchange to do this. Can we put it in an ETF? They told him, yes, you can put this GBTC in your fund, but only 1%, we said. Great, it wasn't said that it couldn't go up from 1%. So we let it go up. And of course, it went up from $250 when we got it in September 2015. I think it reached $20,000 around the end of 2017. It makes a lot of things better. What Bitcoin means to us is 3 things. 1, it's a brand new tech. Blockchain technology is brand new. To keep things simple, all we're doing here is adding the layer that developers forgot to add to the internet in the early 1990s because no one thought that business or financial transactions would happen on the internet. I agree with everyone else that I will never put my credit card number on the internet. This isn't safe, right? They never built it in though. All kinds of blockchain systems are a way to solve that problem. The technology behind this is peer-to-peer, which cuts out a lot of the middlemen and fees that come with standard financial services. The fees range from 2.5% to 4% of each transaction. That is the first thing a tech. The second is that it's a way to handle money. And each of these words is important. It's the world's first digital, decentralized, rules-based money system that is private, which means that the government doesn't watch over it. It's a big thought. Plus Art Laffer, who used to be my professor and is now my friend, is thrilled. This has energized him because he sees it as a chance to go back to the US before the Fed, or before 1913, when we were mostly using private money. That's why it will compete with the dollar. Bitcoin can't be stopped. And China tried, but everything that was going on in China just moved elsewhere. There is no supervision. You can't choke on it. It's become so popular and plays such an important role, especially in emerging markets where people lose 50% of their purchasing power and wealth very quickly because their leaders either don't understand economics or are corrupt. Even this year, Egypt took 40% of the value of the Egyptian pound. I think it was at the start of March. In these places, it's very important to have a protection policy like Bitcoin. Okay, you've seen that the changes are rough because it's so early and the kids are so young. It used to be 95% of the time. They're now closer to 75%. That's a lot. People shouldn't think it's straight up and to the right because the changes are pretty rough. They're not as bad anymore. And I think the volatility will go down a lot as more people start buying in Bitcoin. That's not to say we don't think it will go down. It's going to. There is a new type of product. I would say that a lot of the leaders are weak. They join because they don't want to miss out, but after 20% loss, they leave. It looks like they gave up. Okay, that gets worse and moves down. When it comes to safety, Bitcoin is the best cryptocurrency or crypto asset because it is backed by the world's biggest computer network. No one has hacked it. No one has hacked into the base layer. I don't believe any other cryptocurrency can say that. It's like a big neighborhood watch. A lot of people depend on Bitcoin for their income, starting with the miners who fuel the Bitcoin environment. All of them are keeping an eye on this environment to make sure it is as strong and hard to hack as it can be. As I've said many times, Gary Gensler is a threat to our environment and has brought a lot of new ideas about Bitcoin and other crypto assets to the rest of the world. So much so that many creators who have moved to other parts of the world, like Switzerland, Berlin, London, Hong Kong, or Singapore, won't even do business with us investors. They think that because we are controlled by us regulators, they will be harmed. As a supervisor, you have to look for power all the time. We know that the SEC and the CFTC have had problems in the past. We saw this happen with swaps and how they changed in the 1990s. Finally, they both control it, though they do so in different ways after what I think was a Supreme Court decision. That's what I believe happened. There is a battle for power in the regulatory environment. This is my area of responsibility. This is my area of responsibility. So we could go back to the Supreme Court, I'm not sure. That seems to have been the main point. Regulatory arbitrage is a new term for this. That's what I mean when I say that other countries are very interested in bringing in new ideas, are better than us. For example, when we first started ARC in 2014, our first case study was about drones and the FAI.